used to like it when I was a kid. I don't know. Let's try this one real quick. See if I get anywhere on this one. Okay. Deal. This one's so tiny it's hard to see. Okay, I got an 18. He's got a jack. I don't know. Shit. I guess I should stand. Oh, well, you know, I finally made a correct decision. Okay. That's a 10, so I'll hit. Hit again. Busted. Yeah, you know what? I think maybe, see, like, hold on. Wizard of Odds has a thing where you can learn how to count cards. And you can have it show count or whatever. And then, I don't know if they show you anywhere. Okay. So there's two different links here that if I was going to learn card counting before I come to this thing where it teaches you got to know the basics first. So like three different things. Let's take a look at them. Oh, this is their previous Blackjack game. Not worried about that, but here, card counting. So here's a whole big thing that I would read and try to understand before I go into it. And then here is the basic strategy. So before I even start reading about the card counting, I would get down with the basic strategy, which is probably where I'm severely lacking, you know, and there's all this shit to remember. That's why I haven't really gotten into card counting, because card counting is useless without having basic strategy completely, you know, memorized. You got to know it cold first. Then you got to be able to do the whole card counting thing. And, you know, let's see if they tell you here. Yeah. Here they tell you here about it. So for, you add a +1 if you get 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. A -1 to tens and aces. And everything else is 0. I think when they say tens and aces, they're also talking about what do you call it? Not just tens, but jacks, kings, and queens, because that adds up to 10. You know, in blackjack, it has a value of 10 in blackjack, and aces are 1 or 11. So that's what they mean by that. And then when they say everything else is 0 or neutral, they're referring to 7, 8, and 9 are considered neutral. So when cards are coming out, the idea behind it is supposed to be that you're keeping track of all the cards that can be seen that are dealt out, and then you assign, you know, you start off with 0 in your head, and you either add 1 if any of these come out, subtract 1 if anything with a value of 10 or an ace comes out, and 7, 8, or 9, you just add 0, or in other words, you just ignore them. So you're simply adding or subtracting 1 based on if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, you're adding 1, or you're subtracting 1 if it's a 10, you know, what do you call it, 10, jack, king, queen, or ace. So that is, and you got to keep that running count in your head. And then See, that's what it talks about as a running count. So positive count means that there's a lot of small cards, and that means that that the deck has a lot of large cards left in it. Let's see. Trying to see where they say which is better for the player, having a lot of large cards or a lot of small cards. Let's see. It says to gauge the richness of a deck in good cards. It doesn't say which ones are the good ones. I guess the large cards are the ones that are good to the player. Okay, so they don't flip. They're going from saying good cards to saying that the deck will be rich in large cards. So I guess they're saying that the large cards are good for. They're not flat out explicitly saying it. They're just saying that if you have a positive count, that means that all the small cards have been played out, which means that the deck is rich in large cards. And then they talk about this will tell you the relative richness of the deck in good cards, but it doesn't say that the large ones are necessarily the good ones, because if you get a negative count, that could mean that the deck is rich in small cards. But I guess large cards are supposed to be good. They just don't explicitly say it. The reason I'm confused about that is because, well, a large card can cause you to bust too, so why is that necessarily always good for the player? I don't know. But maybe it is. And then they talk about, once you know the true count, how to determine what your bets are going to be. But anyway, this goes through it all. So yeah, that's what I would do. If I was going to learn how to count cards, I'd go through this first. The basic strategy. Get that all. Maybe make flashcards of this. All these outcomes. Understand what all this means. And then read about all this, and then go to their trainer here, and then you can have it warn you if there's errors. Like if you make strategy errors, it can have you show you the true count. And I guess turbo is where it goes really fast, where it doesn't take time to lay out, do the animation. They just probably spits out the thing, and then. These are just advertisements for online casinos. But anyway, that's all. There it all is. So apparently I'm not very good at playing blackjack. But yeah, that's it. So if you want to learn how to get good at blackjack, yeah, I would come here to Wizard of Odds. You go where it says play for fun, and then over here to where it says blackjack card counting, and then in here, there's the link to the card counting thing, and then a link to the basic strategy thing. Those 2 pages. So anyway, that's it for today. I think I'm going to call it a day. All right, bye-bye.